This is the third chapter of Berserk, known as The Guardians of Desire, Part 1. This is going to be a little sub-arc within the larger Black Swordsman arc. Why don't we just go through of what exactly happened in this one? I think
this is the first time I think I've seen Guts just rip to shreds just a bunch of normal people.
Yeah, did you notice why he did that?
No.
The soldier was about to put his hand on him.
Don't touch Guts.
It's a good thing that apparently he doesn't want to kill fairies because Puck did touch him.
Puck touches him a lot.
Well, not a lot, but he touched him maybe one or two times, enough for, and both times Guts was like, "Don't fucking touch me." Yeah. So, anyway, let's start from the beginning. It starts off at this town where this woman is getting beheaded for heresy.
Mm-hmm. She is indeed getting beheaded. She got beheaded for heresy.
She got beheaded.
And after that, Guts shows up, and I don't know what it is. I mean, I don't know if like the Rise of Berserk, or is just like, oh, this is still the first volume, the first the third chapter, but I don't know what they're doing. But it seems like that they're kind of making you think that he's gonna come and just wreck everyone's shit, for the honor of this, woman that, whatever. And it's just like, no, he just picks up the head and just throws it at the demon guy.
Right. So, yeah, you always think, like, is he about to, like, go and rescue anybody? Ooh, no.
That doesn't happen.
Right. No, what I fucking loved in that first opening thing is when he picked up the head and then threw it at the town leader. Mm-hmm. He then touches his brand and then drags his finger across his throat.
He does shit like that. He just does shit like that. I don't know why. I don't know what that has. The first chapter, he touches his brand and starts scratching at it and just, digging into his flesh, and there's like...
Yeah, but this time it was a little less creepy and more threatening, like a badass threat.
Right.
There's a lot of badassness that Guts had this chapter, I think. I almost said episode.
There was, I'll be honest, there wasn't a whole lot that happened. All it was this lady got beheaded, then Guts shows up, pretty much it makes, as the guy said, makes a declaration of war to the town leader. Mm-hmm. And then, he put his own brand on the woman's forehead, was it?
Yeah.
And then proceeds to walk away, but the soldier touches him, which, sends Guts off into a fucking...
Well, it doesn't happen right away, because... What happened? The order in which things happens is that one big burly soldier that he fights later on went up to him at first, and he was like, "Hey, why don't you give that head back to me?" And he's like, "Whatever," and just completely backfists him and destroys his nose. Mm-hmm. And then he makes the brand, and then he throws it at the town leader, and then he just leaves.
Right.
And then in a different scene altogether, that's when the soldiers come to apprehend him for being a possible sympathizer.
Right.
Of heretics.
And then he just starts wrecking their shit, because I loved the difference between this and chapter 1, because chapter 1 he gets surrounded, he's like, well, I guess I'm captured, and I guess they didn't touch him.
Well, what it was I'm sure they did touch him, but because he didn't have any of his clothes on at that point anymore, because next thing you see him in the dungeon, he's not wearing any of his clothes and he's chained up. Obviously he was touched.
Right.
But probably the difference is before Guts goes into bloodlust, Guts is also smart. The difference between then and now is that now he's surrounded by probably 10 people. He can take 10 people, funny enough, even though that's still a ridiculous amount of people that he shouldn't be able to take. before, he was surrounded by like a battalion of people. There was a lot of people the first chapter.
Something tells me Guts could, handle, a good amount of people if he just, went full monster.
He could, and in fact, there is a time where he actually does, but it's not where he doesn't go completely berserk. And
I see what you did there.
Yeah, I know. I tried to make it as subtle as possible.
Berserk.
Yes. To berserk. Berserk! Yeah. Anyway, he obviously wasn't in that sort of state of mind for really any fight we've seen him in, except when he's fighting demons. When he was fighting that one boss demon guy in the first chapter, and then that horde of skeletons in the second chapter. We've only really seen him go berserk in those two moments.
Right. Now,
every other time he's just a normal slaughter nut.
He completely wrecks shit. And then big guy shows up and he's like, how about your big sword and my pickaxe and meet and, have babies. And he's like, yeah, okay. And just...
Yeah, I was like... It's funny. I was kind of thinking the same thing just because, let's see, this gigantic slab of steel, and then you've got a giant pickaxe. Yes, it's a very formidable pickaxe. The handle is made out of wood. And you see, Guts perfectly times his swing with that. It hits his sword and just completely, through just force of momentum, breaks the handle.
Right.
And it comes back and clocks him on the head, completely throwing off his helmet.
And so that happens, and then, as you said, a battalion of soldiers, which he's like, fuck. And so they show up, and he's like, I gotta get out of here. And so he pulls a Batman, smoke bomb or whatever the hell, it was, I don't know the technology of this era, but,
just consider it medieval times.
Yeah, I'm just saying, I don't know the technology of this world, and so, right. But, I mean, it just was a Batman smoke bomb. I don't know anything else to call it, but he threw a couple of those down,
Maybe
and they're...
just a smoke bomb?
Huh?
Maybe just a smoke bomb, smoke screen.
Right. And then this, deformed leper guy...
He's not a leper, but
I know. I at first thought he was, and he was all like, "Come this way," and he that was the voice I gave him.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
I gave him a normal old man voice just because I kind of know his normal backstory. So I was like, "This guy's a normal old man. He just kind of got mutilated by the town ruler."
Right. So anyway, he ends up following him and. Get one humorous scene with Puck and a bunch of caged fairies, I guess.
I'm pretty sure that was a preserved dead fairy.
Oh, okay.
And that was just one. And I'm assuming that the old man didn't actually kill that fairy. He probably found it or something and just put it in that little jar or whatever.
Well, you know this old man better than I do, so right. I don't know.
He's not a terrible old man. We'll just leave it at that. Although, I mean, the only thing we really know about him is that he is some sort of scientist or doctor or whatever. He's just a doctor's ends, normal ends and whatever. He's not practicing witchcraft or anything. Anyway, but the only thing we really know about him is, aside from his probable occupation, is the fact that he fucking hates the town leader and he wants Guts to kill him.
Gee, I wonder why.
Yeah, I mean, the only thing he's been doing so far is beheading people. Oh, and also apparently mutilating people and eating it.
Mm-hmm. In front of them.
In front of them, yes. Mm-hmm.
And so then after that, he's like, I got something to show you. And he, takes Guts downstairs, and Guts like, is that? And then we see this egg-looking thing. It's got a nose, an eye.
Nose up there, an eye down here.
It's a Picasso egg.
Yes.
Okay. That's what it is.
Yes, it is. I'm pretty sure that's where Miura, the author of Berserk, probably got the idea of how to make the Bailet. Mm-hmm. But, I don't actually know. I'm sure the Bailet actually has some sort of actual religious background or spiritual background in the real world.
We won't know because we're too lazy to do any research.
Well, maybe I will. I don't know, but
He's too lazy to do any research.
well, maybe I'm not. Regardless, that thing is a Baelet, and how much do you actually recognize the Baelet?
Like 1%.
1% recognize?
Yeah, I mean, it's just like, I believe I saw this in the... I don't know if we said this originally, but...
We did.
Okay, did we?
Yeah.
Yeah, but I did watch, kind of,
He watched
the first movie.
the Golden Age arc Part 1 movie.
Yeah, I watched that, but I don't remember much. I wasn't paying that much attention. I didn't give a shit.
Right. He was not in the right mood to watch Berserk. He was expecting Supernatural, and he got Game of Thrones.
I did. Yeah, well, I mean, that movie has, like, little to no supernatural in it, which,
right.
Reading the first 3 chapters, I'm like, the fuck?
Yeah. Again, I was like, oh man, I really want him to read the manga, but you know what? I'll just show him the movie. And then watching this, I was like, oh my god, I said Supernatural, and there's no Supernatural right now. So it would have been even worse if I'd showed you the anime, the original 90s anime, because that show, they, like I said before, except for one part at the very end of the show, they take out all of the supernatural elements.
All?
All.
The fuck is that kind of... What's the point of that?
Well, they really turned Berserk into what the story is. They transformed it into sort of its standalone thing. Like, it's hard to explain. When we catch up to when we cover everything that the anime covers, I'll explain in more detail about how that all works. Mm-hmm. And we can talk about that
when we finally catch up a year from now.
It probably won't take a year, but it'll still take a good amount of time, obviously.
Well, if we're doing one episode every other day and we're not doing weekends, then that's and there's like 300 chapters or more.
Right,
I mean, that's going to be over a year.
It's not going to take a year to watch the Golden Age arc or read the Golden Age.
I thought you meant just catch up.
No. I'm talking about specifically just the Golden Age arc, which will take care of the movies and the anime. Yeah, anyway, but what I can talk to you about is this arc right now that we're reading. We're not watching it. We're not watching manga.
Although, I watched the first 10 minutes of the new anime of the first...
Right, I was going to bring that up.
Of the first episode. I am not a fan of that animation.
Right, mostly because it's not exactly animation. It's 3D modeling, and I guess it's still animation because you still have to use like movement and tracking and whatnot.
Right.
But still, it's definitely not what you would consider when you think of animation. I mean, you don't go, oh wow, look at the animation in Skyrim. I don't know, but. Maybe something a little more cinematic. Look at the animation in Uncharted. Wow, that's not animation. That's a cutscene.
Right.
You don't use animation for that sort of thing, and that's why I am kind of loath to use animation for Berserk. Although technically it still is. I understand it is. But anyway, so this arc, the Guardians of Desire arc we're on right now, which is just a sub arc of the Black Swordsman arc. This arc is not in the 2016 anime. Even though the anime starts out with the brand chapter. Mm-hmm. That's how the anime starts out. That's the first episode.
Right, and the first 2 chapters is the
and
first
then it
episode.
completely skips over this Guardians of Desire arc. And, God, after the Golden Age arc, because the 2016 anime doesn't do the Golden Age arc, which is the flashback arc. After that, there's a lot they don't do. And it always that was what drove me crazy the most about this show. It was like, what's the hurry, guys? I mean, there are like maybe 4 chapters that come out a year, and you're gonna catch up even if you made every chapter into an episode,
right? And
only did 13 episodes a year. You would catch up because. the manga chapters just don't come out fast enough. And I was like, make this last as long as possible instead of...
Didn't you say that, the creator of Berserk was like, see you in 2017 or something?
Yeah. The most recent chapter I read came out in like October of 2016, and you're gonna shake the camera if you keep on doing that. By the way, he's shaking his leg, so I'm like, I don't know if he's shaking the camera or not. It's hard to tell right now, but I'm worried he was.
Kind of worried now too.
Yeah. Anyway, and it ended with next chapter will be coming in 2017. It's been 2017 for about 3 months now, so don't know when that chapter's coming out. Probably maybe summer is what I would imagine. They didn't come out in 2016 until like August.
Summer 2017.
Yeah.
That's going to be a good time for all of us.
Yep. We probably won't be there we won't be able to catch up to Berserk by then, but...
Oh, it's not what I was talking about.
What were you talking about?
I was talking about the new DuckTales show. Coming out in summer 2017. I am a 80s kid, and I watched all those
You're
shows.
not an 80s kid. You were born in the 80s. That doesn't make you an 80s kid.
Okay. I was raised on 80s shows, so I consider it that I'm, something of an 80s kid.
Right. You're more of a 90s kid because you grew up in the 90s. That was your childhood.
Yes, but I didn't do anything 90s. I did most... Anyways. Yeah. Punch you.
All right.
I'm going to cut this shit out.
Okay. Anyway, so that was Guardians of Desire Part 1. All right, and we're about to get in a fight, so just see you guys next time. I'll probably have a bloody nose, and this guy will have a black eye. So, see you then.